Yeah. To yet another episode of Motlhophi BUA, Voters Speak, brought to you by Bokongo in partnership with Duma FM and supported by the Embassy of the United States of America in Gaborone. My name is Tumisang Motei, your host, and this is an election podcast. Mo tsamaisong ya puso ya batho ka batho. So in democratic governance, that's the issue that we're going to be looking at with my guest, in seeing how they are able to combat misinformation, how they are able to shape public opinion, and how they change their operations to fit the period. So my guests this afternoon, I have Thuso Motshekgwe, he is a news anchor, a news reader, ko ya Rona FM. Good afternoon to you, my brother.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have in the studio Litlhogile Mpuang, who is the chairperson of Botswana Online Media Association. Rempua,
Right.
are you well?
Yes.
Thank you. So today we're going to be talking about a very, very important issue, and that is the role of the media in terms of the private, the online and public media in democratic governance. Dikgang di dintsi re ka eletsa gore le wena o tlo nne teng gore e be re ka di bua re le mmogo. Me a re simolole jana ke simola ka wena re mpua. O ka tlhalosa gore eng hela seemo sa bobegedikgang ga re lebile online facilities ke ra di-platform tse e leng gore ra bona gore di simotse go runya o kgona gore re ga o tsoga phakela bo itlhela gore go na le motswedi o mongwe wa dikgang o e leng gore o mo maranyaneng. So your first impressions or first take on the landscape of online media mo Botswana.
Thank you. Motho ka rata simolla se maybe go nka go tlhalosa ka mogatlho a re Botswana Online Media Association me ile gore maikelo magolo a rena retso ke gore ne ra tla ra ikgobokanya mo gore le makwala dikgang a ile gore a based online. We already know gore na la rena traditional ile gore also le bona bana le ditsebe tsa bone online. So ile gore le ka gore re bogolo a gore le ke gore re ikgobokanya re nne mmogo re bone gore ga temme ka gore online media is a new thing mo latseng la Botswana go mo re ka bereka jang, because one of the things you must have observed is that during COVID, that is when we saw a serious spike kind of influx online news publications, and oftentimes ne rena le gona le dikgoto tsa gore go ne go tlhagotlhana thata le molao. And then there was also the intent ya go tsisa Media Practitioners Bill Act yene re dumela gore go gongwe since we've realized that rena le batho ba ileng gore now they are dedicated to reporting news online and being different from our traditional media. Ya no re irang gore le rena re itshireletse re le makwala dikgang. So rena ra tla mmogo ra akanya gore me ne re ka ira jang gore re kgona gore re nne le ntse le ngwela le leng gore le ka bua le lengwe hela. So one of the things se leng gore tsamaile re dia la tlhokoretso, online media is still very, very new mo latseng la Botswana. Le go e tlhaloganya le gore ba ileng gore ke ba busi le ba ileng ba dirisi ba yone le ba ileng gore ke ba bangwe ba ileng gore ke di consumer tsa ene re santse rena le challenge go e tlhaloganya. you'd realize gore gompieko go nna le melao le yone e nnang etla itsisiwa ke puso e leng gore go le ka go nna go ntse go shapiwa. Just to give you maybe a brief example, the other day we went to Bokra e le gore le batla go tlhaloganya gore how do you regulate online media, because re lwela self-regulation like in other media groups tse di leng teng tse e leng gore re le ka self-regulation. And we realize gore ga gona framework e leng teng currently e leng gore ka regulate this online media. So it's an issue e leng gore it still requires a lot of consultation, it still requires a lot of engagement. But currently ha re leng teng re le online media hela molatsin la Botswana, I think slowly but surely we're seeing a bit of professionalism hale le hale. And one of my ikelo magolo a rena tota ke go leka gore re tsise yone that professionalism le yone quality standards of journalism ke sengwe sa dio tse leng gore ra di rera retso mo ba ileng gore ke maloko a rona.
Right. Ramotsego, when you're still operating in the traditional media space, Leleko ya rona FM in broadcasting, so ga re tsena mo pakeng ya ditlhophoe a gona le sepe se leng gore la se dira go netefatsa gore le tlhotlha dikgang le tsa dikgang tse leng gore di tlhomamisitswe ga di na tshokamo ga di ete anong di latlha batho le dirisa metlhale e ntseng jang go netefatsa gore dikgang di neheleletse tsa bammaruri di tlhamaletse?
I think maybe to start off, we should know the currency of news, accuracy. If your news are not accurate, you will definitely lose that currency. So we have always worked so hard to operate within those parameters. So our news are accurate, and how they become accurate is always by fact checking our sources, ensuring whatever that goes on air, it is accurate. In most cases, and especially that we still operate primarily. We still operate on the traditional mediums, but we do have social or online publications, our website as well as the social media.
Strategies are you employing to ensure that there's balanced and fair coverage? Maybe politically sensitive topics.
It's usually what a simple principle of journalism, giving another one the right of reply. I'm going to give you an instance. Recently, just last week, there was an incident in which the Botswana Congress Party President Dumela Nseleshando announced the paper, the Constitution Amendment Bill. And the Botswana Democratic Party, through their communication organ, decided to issue a statement critiquing what he was doing. So you can't go ahead and write what the BDP was saying, the communication arm, what they were saying, without giving the communication arm of the Botswana Congress Party the right of reply. It's as simple as that. When one party accuses the other, and especially that this is an electioneering season, you do not give them the right of reply, then in most cases, you will be coded as sleeping with that political party. But for you to get rid of those accusations, those myths and perceptions, you need to give others who are being accused the right of reply. It's just a basic journalism principle.
Okay, and those basic journalistic instincts and principles, har le bella mo maranyaneng a di a tlhagella ke ra gore lona le lekgotla la Botswana Online Media Association a lena le gongwe re ka re molao motheo kgotsa re ka re guiding principles or even a code of conduct e leng gore your members are adhering to ensure gore go na le a sense of balance, a sense of fairness, a sense of accuracy mo dikganyeng tse leng gore di a kwalwa mo maranyaneng.
One of the things tse leng gore gore be re go a rumogela re ro le kola rona, one of the things like I mentioned earlier gore we also subscribe to quality journalism, standards of journalism. Gore gompieko o tla le BUA Motlhophi online platform, re gora re kopa gore o bo re ha editorial policy ya gago. What wena do you subscribe to as a news publication? Le gore what type of but gore in broad ke bua ka ene ke ke bua ka ene di-ethics tsa rona tsa journalism gore how do we subscribe to them as a news organization le yone editorial policy re tsentse mo teng. So gone ga re ke ra tlhoka gore re amogele gore ra itse gore re na le marugi a leng gore ra tsamaya ra bona in between ya ka re tsamaya particularly re tsana le mo ngwageng o tshwana le wa ditlhopho. Sengwe sa dilo tse re lekileng go sira ke gore once you subscribe to what we call our code of conduct, ole an organization e leng gore online re dumela gore you must be adherent to that set standards of journalism, and on top of that re dumela gore ya ntse dingwe tse e leng gore ya ka re bua ka marugi tseo ke kganyano tse e leng gore like gompie go rena le bo Cyber Bill Act le tse dingwe tse di leng gore di le teng ke dumela gore ya ko ya you are now being crunching ka mo tseleng e sele ya molao. So re dumela gore within this framework e re berekang ka yana ke go leka gone gore ya ka re motshego a kile a bua ga ka tota ela ke kganya gore bobega dikgang a itsweleng tse nne bobega dikgang whether bo operate online, whether bo operate traditionally, we should adhere to the quality ya journalism ye leng gore ra e bega retso.
Re motshego o dirisele go koleneng ke eletsa gore le wena ke go lebise la currency.
Yes.
Ra lemoga gore ga re bua ka social media, the currency is different. Is the likes, you know, the followers se leng gore ona le tsone. Ra bona gore mo gongwe gore batho ba kgone gore ba oketse tatedi ya bone ke gone gore be ba bega dikgang gongwe tse leng gore they are sensational. I know sensationalism, it does exist even in traditional media. Me go lebega e kare e tshabela thata online media space. Re libile gore gongwe tle motho a batla go oketsa ka ke supa khatlego mo se leng gore se begwa ke motswedi oneo. How intrusive is that concept of sensationalism in the media space?
No, we must admit gore ya ka o buile gone gore sensationalism tota it's a factor within journalism, both traditionally and online. Mare me gone ya ka o bua gore gone we are driven by interaction ye o nang le one online. Me motho kare as much as re ka tswa re kare go a sensationalize re dumela gore molao o teng right at the end of the day. Just like in every news setup context where people feel offended by saying gore gongwe motho ka tswa a se bua kana a se bega re dumela gore there are legal channels that supposed to be followed. But on top of that, one of the things se leng gore tsamaile rena ile ha re itsa stock ra di level was that we should realize gore ya ka ne ke bua go tshimologong kere online media is very new mo lehatsheng la Botswana. And one of the things se leng gore re tsweletse ka tsone tse leng gore through and le rena re boe re gore we are still a new organization ye leng gore le rena bontsi jwa maloko a rena most of them ba bangwe ke ba leng gore ne ba hetsa go bo dikolong X and Y ba bangwe le ke generally motho a tsogile phakela la ba ratile journalism. So one of the things that we are currently trying to do tota se se tona ke go leka gore re ne re workshop an because re dumela gore gone part of journalism tota re tshwanetse go re hale re bone gore go na le tlhaelo e ntsi tang ra itshweleng teng. So we believe that through ya ka le rena re ntse re tsamaya kana ke tshipi ditonto ra itso I think we are headed in the direction because we are engaging with a couple of agencies and entities tse leng gore they are in this process ya go leka gore thusa gore how do we take maloko a rena and get them to sit together and understand some of these principles tse leng gore di teng because we believe gore tota if we whether we like it or not, that online is here to stay, hell as much as traditional ballet. So the key issue is just trying to fine tune this thing serious truths and rights.
Yeah. Ke batla wa ka nyaka khanya public trust in online media sources. Ke santse ke boledisa khanye. Re motshegwe gongwe re lebelle lona le motswedi wa dikgang le gongwe ka ha le kang go ruta batho ka teng ha re tsena mo pakeng yone. Ra lemoga gore gona le banana ba bantsi me bile dipalopalo ne di supa the results of the 2022 population and housing census ne di supa gore the population ya banana that is between 18 and 35 it go 30%. You know, minors are I think a little bit higher than that, but essentially there's a huge cohort of youth me bile motho a ka akanya gore ke gona le ba ileng gore they will be first time voters. So go santse gona le thuto e leng gore ya tlhaela gongwe mo go bone le ba bangwe lona le dira yang gore le itebaganye lone kganyeo go netehatsa gore there is meaningful participation in the electoral process and also there's interest in knowing gore ditlhopho di tsamaisiwa ka tseleng tsenya.
I think we have, as a radio station, for close to since 2009, have been running an elections campaign, which we call Why Vote, where we encourage young people to register to vote and also encourage them to go and vote. And one of the things that we usually do is that we take manifestos of different political formations, and we look at issues that are particularly concerning young people, and we amplify them to say, if these are different parties that are contesting for elections, and some, unfortunately, political parties, you will realize that even in their manifestos, they will not have anything that is targeting young people. And we'll invite the officials or the members from, whether from Central Committee or from the youth formation, from BDP, BCP, UDC, Youth League, and things like that, to say which issues are affecting young people, so that we give you a platform to go and amplify them, so that, because we have a constituency of young people, talk to them. But you'd find that some other parties, in their manifestos, they would have left some of these issues from their manifestos or their policies. Yes, they are there, but one of the biggest challenges, and you even use the recent voter registration that has been ongoing. If we look at the numbers of young people registering, and we, even though we are doing the why vote and trying to encourage them to go and vote, there's a high voter apathy among young people, and simply because they feel their concerns are not being addressed. I'll give you a simple example. The issue of unemployment. Our tertiary institute, we are trying to tackle most of these issues. It's very difficult. If you look at the youth unemployment rate, it's sitting at 30%, and it's high. So when you go to them and say, well, now you are doing your civic job or responsibility as a radio station, but unfortunately there are these questions, you still go to these political parties, but in most cases, when you go through their manifestos, nothing is clearly outlined, or this is what we are to do. But I also think that what political parties need to do is that they need to release their manifestos at least a year.
BUA ke Harlenteng, lo ena ra go laletsa ga le gore o reditse mo Duma FM.